Happy Sunday. It is Clarissa here, the creator of She Rocks at College, and I thought that it would be a really cool, fun idea if I walked you through my Sunday planning routine today. So I am just going to start off by showing you the planner that I'm currently using, and also I'm going to make sure that I am actually live. Okay, perfect. I am. And I'm also going to get my charger. Okay, so the planner that I am currently using is the College Productivity Kit, which is the planner that I created specifically for college students. And even though I'm not currently taking any college courses or any college classes, I am using this planner because I love the layout. I created the layout based off of what I used when I was in college, and this has been the planner that I'm using until the end of the academic year. So the planner is a weekly layout, and there is a monthly spread. There is also a goal tracking sheet that I'll show you because I'm going to be filling that out as well. And just note pages in it. So here, just bear with me one second because my husband is home and he's being really loud playing video games with his friends, so hang on a second. Alright, I just told him to keep it quiet. Okay, sorry about that. This happens when you film things live. Okay, so the first thing that I do every Sunday is I actually have a journal that I keep, and I will sit down for about 5 to 10 minutes and I will just write out all of my goals for my life. I write out the vision, the things that I want to accomplish. I write out the goals. Right now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 goals that I am working towards, and I write the goals as though they've already happened. So one of the big things that we're working on right now is building She Rocks at College, which is a company that I run that helps college women get better grades without the stress, overwhelm, and lack of social life. Is the 2019-2020 version of this planner, the College Productivity Kit. And so one of the goals that I have is that the College Productivity Kit sold out in the 2019-2020 academic year launch. I have another goal here that I hosted and sold out, something that is coming for She Rocks at College that I can't yet reveal. I wrote out that She Rocks at College stationery is on display at Target stores and Amazon and was voted the #1 planner for college women. And so those are just the goals that I have for myself. So every single week, and I actually do this every day, I will start off by just reminding myself of what it is that I'm working towards, the goals it is that I have for my life, and I write them out as though they have already happened. And the reason why I do that is because our mind cannot tell the difference between a fantasy or a dream and a reality. So whatever we tell our mind, it will believe. And so I want my mind to believe that we have accomplished these things, that we have done these things, because what it will do is it'll start giving me ideas. It'll start helping me see opportunities where I can make these goals happen. And so I always start off my week with that goal setting. The next thing that I do is I turn to the weekly layout inside of my planner, and I start filling out all of the things that are set in stone. Now, I use a combination of a digital Google Cal and a paper planner. When students schedule their one-on-one calls with me, when I have events such as study school lessons and study school study hall. And if you don't know what study school is, it's a program that college women go through to help them create their study routine. It's a program that I created. All of that gets inputted into my digital calendar. It's just easier for myself, my husband, and my assistants to kind of, all of us have access to my calendar so that they know when I'm free, when I'm not free, when I'm working with students, when I'm not working with students. So I will typically what I will typically do is open up my Google Cal, and I'll show you what that looks like by sharing my screen. So I'll show you my Google Cal, and I'll just start inputting everything that I have on this calendar here. So that's what I'm going to start doing right now, and I'll show you what the final result is. I already started inputting some of the things. So that's the next thing that I do. So I'm just going to open that up. And if you have your planner, feel free to kind of do this with me. I'm just going to take a couple of seconds to put in all of the things that are set in stone, my appointments and things like that. I have an event on Wednesday that my cousin is hosting, so I'm going to be going to that. So I know that that time frame is not available to me. Every week I host study hall hours for the students who are inside of study school. And study hall hours are where you can come and ask questions, get help on your study plan, get help on your notes, get help on writing emails to your professor. You can also just use that time to work on things that you need to get done and you need some accountability. That is what students use that time for. So I'm going to put that in. Usually happens at 10 a.m. and 7:30 p.m. And then we also do the She Rocks at College live show on Thursdays at 6 p.m. And this week we actually have a graduate school application expert, Shauna K. Lester, who's going to be coming on at 6 p.m. and walking us through how to write a entrance letter that makes you stand out and that makes people want to actually have you inside of their program. All right. Excuse me. I have lots of calls with students this week as well. And sometimes I'll use highlighters inside of my planner to like color code. But I like to just keep things really simple for myself. So sometimes I won't even do that. So, okay. So everything that is set in stone is inside of my planner. So everything that I know that it's going to happen at a specific time and place is inside of my planner. And that is right here. So where it says, let me get closer, guys, your study schedule, and that's my makeup right there. Sorry about that. See if it'll focus. Your study schedule. And I'll just give you a peek at what my last week looks like so that you can see. Sometimes I color code, sometimes I don't. My planners always have a bunch of sticky notes in them and to-do lists, and I cross things off, and it's not super pretty. It's messy because I actually use my planner, right? If you're using your planner, it should be messy. You should be doing things in it, crossing things off, because that's just a way for you to process things and choose what it is that you need to work on every single week. Okay, perfect. So now that all of my tasks are set in, the next thing that I do is at the very top of the college productivity kit, there is something called a brain dump section. So I will brain dump everything that's on my mind based off of the category of my life. So I run study school. I am also a wife and myself. So things like home stuff comes into play. I also created this planner and I'm working on the next iteration of it that's coming out in the 2019-2020 academic year. So that's another area of my life. I separate things into categories. When I was a college student, I would separate my brain dump into the classes. I would separate it into bio class, chemistry lab, physics, math, and then I would have a category for things that I needed to do at home. So I first start off by writing down one of the categories, and the category that I've chosen to use is study school. And then what I do is I flip back to the week that just passed. I'm going to take all these sticky notes out. I flip back to the week that just passed. So this was last week. And I take a look at my brain dump from the week that just passed, and I will transfer anything over that I still haven't completed and that I know that I still need to complete. And a brain dump really just helps me to get everything out of my mind and onto paper so that I can make a decision about what it is that I actually need to do that week and if I'm going to actually act on the things that I've written down. Sometimes the reason why you feel really overwhelmed is because you are letting your mind store everything it is that you need to do, and your mind doesn't have a timer in it. So whenever you give it a task, it thinks that you actually want to do it right now, or that it needs to be done right now, and that's what makes you feel overwhelmed. But when you take time to brain dump everything that you need to do, have to do, and want to do, and you write it down, and then you look at it one by one, your mind can do what it was designed to do, which is make a decision on if you need to take action on that thing right now. But when you don't do this step of writing things down and you store everything in your brain is freaking out because it's thinking that you want it to do all of those things right now, and your brain knows that it can't, and so you feel overwhelmed. So one of the biggest tips that I can give to students is, if you feel like you're overwhelmed, if you feel like you have too much to do, take 5 minutes to just write everything down that you feel like you need to do, have to do, and want to do. And then look at each item one by one and make a decision. And the rules for making a decision for me, and this is something that I learned from the book Getting Things Done by David Allen, is if the thing on my list takes less than 2 minutes to do, I do it right then and there. So I go through the process of writing everything down, and I don't know why I cannot speak today. So I go through the process of writing everything down, and then one by one, I'll go through it, and if I have the time, if it takes less than 2 minutes, I will just do it and get it done and over with right then in that moment, and then I feel accomplished because I got something knocked off of the to-do list. I did this last Friday. I had a bunch of things that I felt like I needed to do, so I sat down and I brain dumped everything. That was what these sticky notes were about, and then if it took less than 2 minutes, I did it right then and there, and I crossed off a bunch of things, as you can see, in a very short period of time, because I used that 2-minute rule, okay? So, like I said, after I've written everything that is set in stone, all of my appointments, all of meetings, classes, if that's what you have going on in your week, I then go through and I will start brain dumping based off of category. Or if you're taking classes, you can brain dump based off of your classes. So I'm taking a look at last week to see what I need to transfer over to the next week. And this allows me to keep things top of mind that need to be top of mind, because I'm rewriting it over. I'm telling my mind, hey, we still haven't done this. This needs to get done at some point. And if it goes like 3 or 4 weeks and I haven't done that thing, then it's obviously not something that's important. It's not something that is necessary for me to do. So I might even actually just remove it from my list and not transfer it over anymore, because if it really needed to get done, and if it really needed to get done in a short period of time or in a time frame, I would have done it already. I would have had that pressure to do it. And so I will take notice of things that I would continue to transfer over. Oftentimes there are things that I want to do, but they're just not a priority in my life right now. Doesn't mean that I'll never do it. It just means like, hey, take that off your plate. This is something that you might do down the line, a few years down the line, a few months down the line, don't keep pressuring yourself to get it done. Hey, Terry, thank you so much for joining. I'm just going through my Sunday planning. Okay, so I'm going to transfer over some things from the previous week. And again, I'm doing it by category. Hey everyone that's joining. So happy to have you here. Oh, so Terry's trying to tackle her weekend tasks. All right, so... And then often what I will do is if I transferred it over from the week before, I just put like a little arrow through it with, so that kind of an arrow. All crossed means that I did it. If it has an arrow, it means that I moved it to the next week. So that's sort of just the system that I use. Okay. So now moving on to the next category. And I put, there are two things on here that I'm looking at from the previous week that I have decided that I no longer want to do. And so I am just going to cross those things off because I don't need to worry about them. I don't need to do them. I made a decision that that's something that I no longer want to put time and effort into doing, or it doesn't make sense for whatever goals it is that I have for myself. So I've completely crossed them off and I don't need to transfer them over. And all I'm doing is I am just thinking about the category and I'm thinking about what I need to do or want to do. And if you are just joining, I am just going through my Sunday planning session, and I am just right now working on the brain dump portion of the plans that I create. So every Sunday I will just write down all the things that I need to get done this week that are on my mind so that I can make a decision about how I'm going to act on them, if I'm going to act on them, and when I'm going to act on them. So just to give you an example of the things that I write down on my brain dump list. So for like my home, I write down that I need to meal plan for the week. I need to go grocery shopping. Elvis and I, and Elvis, if you don't know who that is my husband. We follow the Dave Ramsey method of paying down debt. And so we use that in combination with paying down debt with something called Danny Johnson's War on Debt. So we actually don't go grocery shopping until our fridge is basically empty. We try to use up everything that's in our pantry. We try to use up everything that is in our fridge. And we really try to live within our means and to follow a specific budget for our food. And so I've used up all the meat. I've used up pretty much all of the carbs that we have, and I still have some veggies in the fridge and that kind of stuff. So I do need to go grocery shopping this week, and so that's something that I need to do. And then I just create a meal plan based off of those meals. And I am a huge creature of habit, so I eat the same things pretty much every single week. We do a lot of chicken, we do a lot of chili, a lot of the times we'll make stir fries and things like that. So we have a very I don't want to say limited, but like we like what we like, and we just make the same things day in and day out, especially because we have health goals that we're also trying to meet. So that not only helps us with our fitness goals that we have, but it also helps us stick to our financial goals. I also need to buy a wall calendar. Typically, I will buy the calendars that are paper, and then I just like rip them off. They usually come, I'll show you. They come on something like this, and then I just kind of rip it off and put it on my wall. But I find that to be so wasteful. So I actually saw this really nice dry erase one at Target that I want to get and put here so that I can just change it out every single month. I'm also going to be decorating this wall, so there's some things that I need for this, and then I also have a capsule wardrobe. A capsule wardrobe is when you have about 30 something items that you mix and match. I have a small closet. I also like what I like when it comes to my clothes, but there are a couple of things that I need to replace. I need a new sweater this year. I've been wearing the same navy sweater with this like jewels up here for the past 3 years. It's super faded, so I need to replace that with something else. So I will get something in the same color family. that can be used to be dressed up. I like to dress nice. So the other thing that I need to replace is my black cardigan. Again, I've had it for about 3 years. The color's super washed off. So those are some things that I have on here. I have to draft an email template to announce this week's show. That my friend is going to be coming on and doing a program on graduate school application. I need to have my graphic designer create some images for the show. I need to go through this college productivity kit and the changes that we're making for the 2019 and 2020 version. And I need to record some videos for study school. So those are some of the things that I just have, like I said, in my brain dump section. The nice thing about this planner is that it has a lot of space to continue to write things as they come up. Each week also has an entire page just for taking notes. So these are some to-do lists that came up for me last week that I just used that note page to kind of write down so that I wouldn't forget. So there is another section inside of the planner called the, I'm just going to bring it close. It's called the Your Top 3, go this way, Your Top 3 Must-Dos. And I actually do not fill this out until the day of. So I will take a look at what I have going on for that day, and I will look at my brain dump list, and I will say, okay, what are the top 3 things that I have to get done today? Because if I don't get it done today, I won't have time the rest of the week, or because it's due, or because it's really important that I stick to a timeline or something like that. So at the beginning of every day while I'm having my breakfast, or right before I sit down to get to work, I will pick the top 3 things, the top 3 tasks that I absolutely have to get done that day. And I will write them down right down here. And as I do them, I will check them off. And I'll show you an example of what it looks like in my week so that you can see one of them completed. So that's what that looks like. Okay. All right. So then after I do that, the next thing that I do is I write down the goals that I'm currently working on this 90 days. So I plan out my goals. So I have big goals, right? I told you that I have my journal, and in my journal I have my big goals that I'm working on. Well, those big goals, I'm only going to reach them with projects and smaller goals that are going to help me to get to those bigger goals. So I typically focus my goal setting and my time on a 90-day period. So what am I working on these 90 days? And I will write out my goals every week right up here. And again, I write them as though they've already happened. And then what I do is, this is a habit tracker. So I will write down the things that if I did them consistently would help make these 90-day goals inevitable. So one of my 90-day goals is that I want to lose 20 pounds. So I will write this goal as, I lost 20 pounds by December 31st of 2018. That's one of my goals. Another goal that I had this next 90 days is to relaunch Study School and make Study School sort of open enrollment where students can hop in at any point. They're still going to get one-on-one attention from me. They're still going to have the weekly study hall hours. They're actually going to get one-on-one academic coaching from not only myself but other academic coaches, and that's something that I need to put into place. We have 6 weeks worth of videos that we need to record because we've been hosting them live. There are 6 lessons inside of Study School, so we're going to be recording them and putting them so students can watch them at any point, and that they can just really focus on getting things done and actually building their study routine. So that's one of my other goals. So how I write that goal is we made Study School open enrollment and enroll 10 students a month. And enrolled 10 students a month. Okay, so those are two of the big 90-day goals, the two main things that I'm focusing on right now. And then the last goal is we finished the new version of the College Productivity Kit. And it's in production. Okay, so these are my goals that I'm currently working on for the last 90 days of 2018. Now what I need to do is there are things that if I did them consistently would help me to lose the 20 pounds, to make Steady School open enrollment, and to make sure that we are on track with our production timeline for the College Productivity Kit. Now, if you're currently a student, the way that this can look like for you is you have a goal that that you're going to finish the semester on the Dean's List. Well, there are things that if you did them every single week, every single day, would make you achieving the goal of making the Dean's List inevitable. What are those things? Some examples of those things are, I always stay on top of my reading and my notes, and I do quiz and recall every single week. I go to the tutoring center 2 times a week. I go to office hours every week. There are things that you can track, that you can make into habits that will make the goals that you have academically inevitable. So for me, one of the things that I'm going to write down that are goals that I have been tracking is my workouts. I have consistently been working out 4 days a week for the past 6 weeks. And the reason why this has been consistent is because I've made it a habit and I've been tracking it, guys. I can't tell you how exciting it is for me to check off that I did my workout program for the day, that I accomplished it. I haven't been this consistent with working out in a really freaking long time. And this has really helped. I have a big why attached to why I want to lose those 20 pounds. It's not just for vanity reasons. There are things that I'm trying to achieve in my personal life that are dependent on me losing those 20 pounds. And so I have a big why that's really motivating me to achieve that and to stick to my workout program and to stick to my meal plan. So some of the habits that I'm tracking is that I'm sticking to my meal plan. Seven days a week. And my meal plan, luckily, includes in there a treat day. So I'm able to eat a little bit more carbs, have a little bit more protein 1 day a week. And so what I do inside of the College Productivity Kit is I just put sticking to my meal plan and then 7 times a week. And then the other thing is I completed my workouts. And again, the program that I'm currently following is only 4 days a week. So I put 4 times in this little box here. So those are really, the other thing is I'm trying to drink at least 75 ounces of water. And I try to do that 7 days a week. So every time I achieve that and I complete that, I just give myself a little check. And so those are the 3 things that if I did them consistently, if I did them every single day, if I stuck to these habits every single week, the chances that I'm going to lose the 20 pounds are super high. So all I need to focus on, I don't need to focus on the 20 pounds. I don't need to hyper focus on jumping on the scale. I don't need to hyper focus on losing the 20 pounds. What I need to hyper focus on are the actions, the habits that if I did them day in and day out will help me to lose 2 pounds a week, which eventually will help me to lose the 20 pounds a week, which is going to make one of the goals, the bigger goals that I have in here, possible for me. This is how you see success in the things that you're trying to achieve. This is how you make progress in your life. This is how people who you see who are successful, not only academically, but in their life, are making S-H-I-T, happen. They're making things happen because they know what their goals are, they know what they're working towards, they know why they're working towards them, and they have a plan in place and a tracking system to see how it is that they're progressing. It's the reason why these types of things are included in the College Productivity Kit, because I want you to take action. I want you to track things. I want you to see how you're progressing, and so that your goals, so that the things that you're trying to achieve in college become inevitable. Okay, so for making study school open enrollment, I need to stick to my filming schedule. And I need to be talking about study school. I need to be sharing study school. At least 5 times a week, okay? And then for finishing the new version of the College Productivity Kit, it's really just sticking to our production schedule. And that's something that I can't track on a daily basis. So that's not something that's not a habit that I'm actually going to put in here. But what I am going to put in here is that I'm sticking to my work hours. So I'm sticking to my work hours, because if I'm showing up and doing what I need to do during my work hours, that is going to help me to make sure that we stick to our production schedule, to make sure that, study school is happening, that we're getting students in, and that kind of stuff. And that I have time to work out and meal plan and eat healthy. Nerdy Girl says, let's see what she says. She says, preach, girl. Let me see if I can make this smaller. She says she lost a lot of weight. I'm sorry, I can't read the rest of your comment. She says she lost a lot of weight just by doing really small adjustments like eating way less. Exactly. That's exactly how you make progress. It's these small, daily, insignificant tasks that are easy to do and also easy not to do. The things that you think have no impact, the things that you say to yourself, oh, it doesn't matter if I do that, it doesn't matter if I stick to that, those are the things that will differentiate you from everyone else, because the people who are seeing success are the people who are doing those small things that you think don't matter over time that helps them to achieve the goals it is that they have for themselves. Okay. And then at the end of every week, you can actually assess how you did on your habits. So what were some obstacles that you encountered as you were trying to achieve these habits or do these habits? What improvements did you make? So maybe this week I actually stuck to drinking water every week versus last week I only drank 75 ounces twice a week. What can I do to overcome the obstacles that I'm encountering, and what can I celebrate? And so again, these reflection questions I'm doing at the end of every week. Typically I do them on Friday. And it helps me to stay on track. It helps to give me motivation. It helps to keep me inspired because I'm seeing what's really working. I'm also seeing what's not working, so I can make those tiny adjustments that I need to make to help me to stay on track. And that's my planning every Sunday. That's what I go through. Typically, I will also kind of write down the meals it is that I want to make. But like I said at the beginning, I eat the same thing like pretty much every week. So I know exactly what groceries it is that I need to get. It keeps it simple so I don't have to make a ton of decisions and I don't reach decision fatigue. It also helps me because I know exactly how many calories, how many proteins, how many fats, how many carbs are in those meals, and it just makes it easier in terms of tracking things for my weight loss. So that is my weekly planning routine. It's so simple, straightforward. It has a tracking system in it so that I can see the progress it is that I'm making, which keeps me motivated. It keeps me inspired and wanting to work towards my goal. There is nothing more motivating than seeing your own progress and seeing your own success and seeing how you're improving as you're working towards your goal. If you struggle with motivation, if you struggle with staying on track, if you struggle with really achieving your goals, try tracking your habits. Try creating routines and habits like how I have here that will make your success inevitable. So that is my entire planning process from start to finish on Sundays. And again, the planner that I'm using is the College Productivity Kit, which is the planner that I personally created for for college women, college students, and it's currently sold out, but we will be relaunching the 2019-2020 collection in probably June or July of 2019. So keep a lookout for that. It's an amazing system, and everyone who has it absolutely loves it. It's really more than just a planner. It helps you to succeed academically because in it, it's an entire study plan, an entire study system that you get at the back, which I didn't show. Okay. So that is it. I hope that you found this video helpful, and I will see you all the next time I go live. I'll see you Thursday, actually, at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the She Rocks at College live show. Remember, this week we are talking about graduate schools and how to write a graduate school entrance letter or acceptance letter or paper that actually gets you accepted, that makes you stand out, and that makes the board that makes the decision on whether or not you get in so excited to invite you to be a part of their program. So if you're interested in that, we'll be back here live on Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for She Rocks at College Live. I hope you have a great rest of your Sunday. Bye.